Hello, and welcome to Scones and Bones. I am Michaela,
I'm Audrey.
and we have some nice little beverages here, and we're gonna sit here and talk to you about some paranormal videos we've seen online, show them to one another. We love to consume paranormal content, as you may have guessed. So today I am drinking a lemongrass ginger licorice root tea for my tummy.
So healthy. I'm drinking Starbucks cold brew.
Like I said, Audrey and I are going to be looking at some video pieces. Audrey has 3 videos, I have 2, and we're just kind of looking at evidence that we think is compelling, creators that we think are making like interesting, cool content. So yeah, we're going to take a look at those. Hopefully we don't get like copyright claims for putting other people's videos in here, but we'll see. So do you want to go first?
Yas. So this is a video from the channel Nuke's Top 5 where he collects all kinds of spooky content from all over the world. People send it to him, but he also seems to go out and find it. Very good channel. He will be very analytic about the stuff that he sees, and in the videos he will kind of acknowledge when stuff seems a little bit suspicious in terms of like if it was faked or if it seems like something that's truly spooktastic. So this was one of the videos that genuinely gave me the spooks. What you see here is a woman going to do her laundry, and caught on her Ring camera is a very strange noise.
It's weird. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. If you scrub forward a little bit, you'll see that she actually called the police. And they came to her home and they looked around because she was like that startled and convinced, and she shows them the video and they're like, yeah, I can definitely hear it, and that's definitely weird.
Yeah.
So the amount of effort that goes into actually like faking something like this to me is like not plausible. And her reaction is just so like, huh. That like I found that aspect of it to be compelling, but the voice itself is so creepy to me.
So I have Ring cameras in my house, that around my house. That's like the security camera that we use. And
Yeah.
I like the way that the audio is, that must be very loud, I think. Or it must be like loud enough because if there's something kind of quiet, you can't really pick up on it,
Oh,
you know? So
yeah. That's even scarier.
yeah, it's weird. Like it sounds like you can hear her opening the door, and maybe the audio's been amplified and that's why it sounds like we can hear it. But yeah, that is weird, and I've Ring catches some weird things. They're scary.
Yeah.
But
I've seen some weird Ring videos because like it is a perfect setup to try to fake something, but the other thing too is that they're gonna be running all the time anyway, so you're gonna see unusual things, I feel like. And
yeah, I've caught. Remember those weird orbs I caught on mine?
totally, and the box falling.
And the box falling. Yeah, I've caught some weird stuff in my sunroom.
Should
But-
we do like a scale of 1 to spooked for each video?
Yeah, so sure, let's do that.
So for me, this is maybe a 3.5, 4, because the voice sounds so like sad and desperate, and I think that's
Yeah.
very creepy.
It I think for me, I'll say it's a 4 because it doesn't scare me like it would be paranormal. If that happened to me, I would like literally think there was a person, like something
Yeah.
was wrong with a person, and that's really, really scary. Like if somebody is, it does sound really desperate, the voice, and sad.
Yeah, but it's like weird too, right? Because she's not in a place where she's visible in any capacity. She is like behind a nook, and it sounds like someone's addressing her. So you're like, even if it was a person, where are they in respect to her in order to like cry out for help? You know
Yeah,
what
it's
I
kind of
mean?
hard to know, like, what the neighborhood situation, like, is this a person that's talking to somebody else? You'd think you would hear a response or something else. It's hard to know because it's like a
is hard
specific
to know.
angle and like the background is so blown out. But But I mean, she obviously, as we can see, she called the police. So
Yeah.
weird.
That's my first vid.
Okay.
I think about this one all the time.
Yeah, I think you definitely sent me this one, and it did stick with me. For my first piece, I wanted to talk about The Haunted Side, which is a YouTube channel that I think I discovered them when they had only posted like 2 or 3 videos, maybe 5. And they have, really good production quality, and they seem to get very spooky things on a lot of their, like, I feel like I haven't watched all their videos, but I feel like every single video that I've watched of theirs, they have gotten some sort of compelling evidence that almost seems too good to be true. So we're gonna scrub around a little bit with this one, because they're in an abandoned house. It's called the Truckee River Murder House, and we're gonna link all of these videos down below, so you can watch them yourself. And but we're just gonna kind of hop into when they're bopping around here. So they use the SLS a lot, and so the SLS, like, it uses multiple, I think, camera lenses to sense depth, somehow, so it can tell like if there's a humanoid shape. I don't know what I think of the SLS, but it's like it's weird looking. Okay, Audrey has had an angle change while I scrubbed to find the specific piece of evidence in this video that I wanted to show you. It's very spooky. It spooked me at first. I don't know if it's paranormal or not. These guys tend to use a lot of tech, which I am not totally a fan of, but we can discuss that after watching this clip. Ready?
I'm ready.
We decide to set up the Whisper Box, which is a new piece of equipment we're using, and basically it's a super sensitive wireless microphone that we can set up in places and then listen in from a different location. What we didn't realize is that we were about to capture something super creepy, and keep in mind it's only Jason and myself there. If you look closely, it appears that a hand is sticking out of the basement window, and as soon as we turn the corner, it quickly retreats back inside.
You see it,
Do they freeze on it ever and zoom?
I think that was as much of a freeze and a zoom. It's definitely a weird motion because it does look like that sort of motion. It's weird. I can play it again. I'm always like, they find these really spooky things. It's just weird. It's weird motion. And it's like blurry. So it's not like they were specifically, I don't know.
So, if we're going to discuss it. It is creepy. It is weird. But one thing that I would say, if I could like have the opportunity to like zoom and enhance that image, like having the chance to see if it could be like an animal, if it could be like a tail or something like that, would be my first instinct in that situation, because like especially like an old dilapidated kind of building that has little nooks and crannies, like there's definitely animals living in there.
Right.
So like
although you'd think they would hear it, which I don't think. I mean, we can watch a few seconds afterwards and see if they mention hearing something. It's very creepy. It's sort of like as they're panning, you could barely see it. So like, I mean, you could say that seems like it's not like contrived. They're not like trying to make it seem like a spooky thing, but also it's moving so quickly you can't really tell what it is. And they just like cut, so they just like keep walking wherever they're walking. I hate ads. I hate you.
Very bad.
I hate you. So I think like it's like that window or something like that. I don't know if you can see in the top corner. I think it's that room because there's 2 basements, but I think it's like that one or if there's one on the other side there. Could totally be an animal, but it is a very strange motion.
Yeah, and it looked like it had like fingers.
Other pieces of evidence, that's the one that has particularly stuck with me because it's super creepy. But again, I don't know if you can really call it evidence. I feel like a lot of what they get is like EVPs. They have had, there's one other one that I showed you, which is like the misty figure that just apparates in the middle of a room and like walks. Do you remember me showing
Maybe
you that one?
that's, yeah. Maybe that's the one I was remembering. Is it like in a basement-y room? Like a...
Let me see if I can find
Still-
it. I know I was only going to pull up one, but it's one of their like, I think it's Donovan Mill.
We leave the night vision camera recording in this room all night, and about 45 minutes after we leave, we catch something unbelievable.
It's hard for me to see with the way that the lighting is.
I just increased my brightness and I could see it pretty clearly, and it is very strange.
It's weird, but here's the thing, and I'm not trying to say that the haunted side fakes their things, but I feel like, because it's like really weird and spooky, that other thing was really weird and spooky, and I'm just like, it seems too good to be true. Why is nobody else talking about them? Like, I'm just like, it's unfortunate because like if you find good evidence, you're immediately going to be met with skepticism. So I'm like, I'm just very skeptical because, you know, I'm not there. I don't know their backgrounds, stuff like that. But it is spooky.
And, like, I don't know how you could recreate that necessarily. I know that there's probably a million different things that I don't know about in terms of, like, video editing and practical effects, too. I mean, there's so much you could do to create a shadow. But at the same time, like, I definitely agree with your point that content makers who always catch some sort of evidence, like, I have to be suspicious of them for doing that.
They seem like very serious. They have really high production quality, but also because they have really high production quality and they are always using this like tech stuff, I'm like, do they have the ability to make these like make something up? I just don't know.
Yeah, because I know that they're just trying to make a watchable video, but when it is so cinematic, it creates some doubt in my mind personally, because now you're trying to make like something fun to watch instead of like potentially documenting something, which I think there is a middle ground there to be met, but that's just my angle on these as well.
So let me find the clip where the chair thing happens. Okay, so
2 whole words on there.
they're using... Yeah, here it is.
These don't...
No. Bro, that said it weird.
I don't think I like the spirit box.
So,
what the
that's suspicious, right?
No, that was not me.
That's a little
Super
suspicious, right?
Dude, oh my
That's
god.
like someone might have accidentally pushed, like
Dude, I
they're
got chills
sitting
all
at
the
the
way-
table together. He is in the perfect spot, and he might not even know it, because you might just instinctively move your foot and accidentally push something and not even notice.
Yeah, I think they show the setup. So he was sitting like across it, and he's like, you know, it wasn't you, but like, it could just be that they're like really in the moment and like freaking out. But I'm just like, it seems so perfect that the Ovilus or whatever it was said evil that weird way, and then something moved.
No,
It moves strangely.
it looks like it looks like
It could
and I
be
hate
on a
to say
string or
this,
something on, right?
Yeah, it looks
It's-
like it's on a wire.
It's
Me
a little
too,
weird.
and I hate.
I know. I
It's
hate
it's
to
a
be
little
like.
too perfect.
I know. I hate to be like. I think it's fake, but it's just like. So these are like 2 pieces in this one episode, and there were other really creepy things that they were finding, like shadowy figures and stuff like that. But it feels like every single episode they have stuff like that, and I'm like,
Yeah. No, I agree with you, and it is also really tricky too, because that like standard of skepticism makes it so difficult to be taken seriously as a paranormal investigator, because when you do catch something, you're gonna get all the people, because unless you're there, it's so hard to really believe it. But that's the point of analyzing these videos, I think, is just being like, well,
no, yeah,
What
you have to
could-
keep skepticism.
yeah,
We also look at paranormal videos from the view of like a paranormal investigator, not someone who's looking to watch something scary. So I think that's why people watch some of those over the top. Dude, what's going on? Oh my gosh, did you see that candle blow out?
what was
You know?
that?
Man, I mean, I think people just watch them for different reasons. But if you are looking for like
That's
an
true.
interesting, more serious kind of like ghost hunters vibe, YouTube channel and you haven't checked out the haunted side, I would check him out. Okay, so for the haunted side, 1 out of 5, right? Were we doing 1 out of 5 or 1 out of 10?
1 out of 5.
Okay, 1 out of 5. How spooky were those clips?
For me, I would say, like, maybe a 2. Maybe. Because, okay,
Really?
so the hand thing is creepy, but I really think it could have been an animal. And until I can verify that otherwise, but, like again, with considering how cinematic it all is, it's a little difficult for me. And then the chair really put, like the chair was just a little much for me. So I think I would give it a 2 for now.
Okay. I'm going to give it a 4 because, like, it spooked me. But all of those clips, they definitely spooked me and scared me. Whether or not I, like, even though it does seem cinematic, like, and I'm not sure if they're totally paranormal and legit, it still scared me. So
Yeah,
I'll give them a
fair.
4 for spook.
Speaking of popular paranormal channels on YouTube, the top number 1, I feel like this has to be the most popular one on there, but
I think
BuzzFeed Unsolved,
so.
right?
I think
They
so.
are one of my favorites in the genre, simply because of the fact that I think they have, like, the perfect formula for getting really objective evidence. I don't know if you agree with me on that, Michaela, but
The sort
the
of
duality
dynamic.
of-
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The strong skeptic who really doesn't want to believe any of it, and then the one who possibly believes a little too much for his own good, creates this really good, like, situation. So this is one of my favorite videos. They actually have a lot of really good evidence, but this is one that I really was like, whoa. So they're in
Yeah.
an old jail from I think the jail was in its height during, like, the 1800s or something.
So I think with BuzzFeed Unsolved, what evidence they do catch, I am more likely to believe just because of the way that Shane is so a non-believer. And that's not an act. I think that's just how
Yeah.
he is. He's hilarious.
Let me give a little context. So they have static cameras throughout the building when they're filming these, and in this one, it's kind of small, but there is a distinctive shape that they catch while they're off in, like, a separate section of the building doing their thing, and they will actually discuss it a little bit after it comes up so we can hear a little more, but
I love
Yeah.
this clip.
Inside Lavinia's cell.
I love it. It's so good. It really looks like a...
Is this the ghost of Lavinia
Like
Fisher?
somebody... It does look like a person walking.
so
So, yeah, go ahead.
So, one thing that, because I've looked at this clip, I've exhausted it, it kind of looks like a t-shirt shape, which is the one thing that makes me question it, and I don't know if you can pull it back up. I don't know if you could even potentially zoom, but it almost does look like a short sleeve, which, if we're getting technical, would not be period accurate.
See, I think it's more of a... Okay, I'm having trouble with it right now, but to me, it really
Yeah,
does
same.
look like a bell sleeve. To me, it really does look
Ooh.
like the person is walking... They're walking kind of like this. Like, it looks like their shoulders are a little slumped, and it seems like the bottom
Yeah.
of their sleeve comes out more. And it seems like the
Yeah.
waist is higher, like the waist of the shirt is higher than the bottom of the thing, which it looks like a very sort of Edwardian dress. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of fits the time period. It does look like a dress, with the sort of like bell sleeve sort of situation with
Right.
the cuff. I can't remember what exactly that
Which-
sleeve style is called, but it is really interesting. It's whether it's paranormal or not, it definitely looks like a person walking.
Definitely.
And if it's actually
Yes.
like an apparition, that's the most like solid looking apparition I've ever seen. I really like that
100%.
clip.
Yeah, 100% I agree. And, like, just for even more context, they were provoking this female
Right.
person, ghost, whatever you want to call her, who was, like, a notorious, like, badass who had done all this crazy stuff. So if you subscribe to the idea that the provocation could bring a spirit up,
Yeah.
like, definitely I would think that it lines up with what they're doing. And it's just so weird because it's not a good shot by any means. It's not what they were trying to focus on.
Right.
The placement is interesting, and so I I think it's a really compelling bit. And they don't focus on it too much. I know Ryan does say he thinks it's the most
what I
compelling
would
piece of evidence,
love,
but...
I mean, that's kind of their style, though. They kind of, like, touch it, but and then they discuss it. And then they kind of move on because they are a very quick format, make it enjoyable to watch. What I would have loved to see after they expose this clip and after they discuss this clip is seeing it in daytime, because it's really difficult to see exactly where the angle is. Like, it looks like it's a floor and like down there and there are some bars. I don't really know what I'm looking at. It would have been great to see that angle in daylight or with some light, and then also see where that figure was. So, like, ghost hunters used to do this, where they would try to recreate something. You know, if they saw a figure walk through, if they saw some sort of weird light on their cameras, because they would be reviewing it live, which is difficult, but they would try to recreate that and see, like, okay, how tall would this person have to have been? How fast would they have been moving? And get that sort of information, because then that kind of will help you eliminate if it was actually a physical person there.
Yeah.
So I would have loved to see that, and I think that would have strengthened it, but I understand, like, you film, you get out, you review it a day or two later. It's good regardless.
Definitely. But good for us to know in the future when we can finally get to our investigations that kind of method will help to reestablish, because I definitely agree that would be helpful. But overall, this is also a really great video. Ryan loses his mind towards the end of it. It's 1 through 5 for BuzzFeed Unsolved on a scale of 1 to 5.
For spooky?
What are we thinking?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to give them a 3, because although it's neat, cool information... What? I'm going to give it a 3, because even though it's like a spooky clip, and I do think that they have some compelling stuff, the overall theme is just kind of like goofy and a little more lighthearted sometimes.
Yeah.
So I'll give it a 3 on spookiness, not a 3 on like goodness, on spookiness.
Yeah.
Goodness.
No, that's fair. They are very goofy. I'm going to give that one like a 4.8, I think, because I just don't know how to explain it. Yeah, I know it's a high rating, but like, I think it's a good one. Yeah.
Okay. So next, I'd like to show you a YouTuber who I recently found just kind of while I was, honestly trying to look for more interesting and compelling paranormal stuff for this video, because I am so closed. I find like the few that I like and then I rewatch them. That's my style of watching. So I was trying to find something new, and I happened upon this YouTuber, Amy's Crypt. And she is an Australian-based paranormal YouTuber. Looks like she's been doing this for a couple of years. And so this is a video where she talks about 5 of her own encounters in Australia, 5 pieces of evidence that she's gotten. So we don't have to... I'll just start playing it. I can't remember specifically which one I wanted to show you. Actually, no, I do. It was, I think, a spirit box thing.
I move on to one of my personal favourite haunted places, which is Zedwood for the criminally insane. This place is an asylum built to hold those who are too dangerous to be held within a typical correctional facility. What are you doing in here?
Okay, you know what's funny? It just reminds me of Jenna Marbles.
It does. You beach. But so that one, like, that's a creepy voice.
Yes,
it's like
definitely.
very garbled. I don't know how I feel about Spirit Box.
Me too.
I'm like, because your brain always wants to like make sense of things.
Pareidolia, baby.
So like, of course you're gonna like see things in the dark or like hear things out of nonsense. It's just it's what humans do. But like sometimes it's just really strange. Like this one really does sound like some like rough and tough guy going, "Ya bitch." Like,
yeah,
it's weird, right? And then,
do you remember any of our names?
Is that a slur or something?
there she explains.
I thought it was relevant to receive the response, "you bitch," through the spirit box, since that was likely the kind of language that would have been used by patients in a criminally insane asylum. You can clearly hear this response is different to any of the other interference we captured through the spirit box. And in addition, bitch is definitely not something that would likely be broadcast on Australian radio,
I thought that was an
making this
interesting
response all the more relevant. The second response, CAG, was also very relevant, as this is the name of the tour guide who is conducting the session with us. CAG works as part of Adelaide's Haunted Horizons and spends a lot of time in Z Ward. Furthermore, CAG isn't a common name that is likely to be said over the radio. Could it be possible that the spirits have come to know her by name?
So I thought we can watch the number one piece, but I thought that, you know, the point that bitch probably isn't being broadcasted on a radio. I don't think the word bitch would be like that. I guess I don't know what Australian radio is, and I don't listen to the radio. But
yeah, I feel like I've definitely heard the word bitch on the radio, but again, that's in the U.S. and we're a bunch of crass assholes here.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
who knows?
So
But
I don't know. I
CAG.
thought that one was weird because it also sounded very different. It was just like CAG, which is a one syllable thing. And just hearing a one-syllable, one-off thing that could even sound like that, your brain could just be like, oh, yeah, that's CAG because I already have that information in my brain, so I'm connecting the dots. But it is weird. It is, and usually spirit boxes, like, there have been some really interesting spirit box responses. I have very limited experience with them myself. I've watched a few of her videos. She seems like pretty, more like my style of paranormal investigator that I like to watch, where there's a lot of dead time. And there's a lot of quiet, and they occasionally find some things, but she also tries to go in and debunk it. But they've got, she's got an app that she and her husband have developed, 2 paranormal apps, I think, Ghost Tube, and then there's another one. And I'm curious to try it. I want to try it. I think next time we get together and we try to do a paranormal thing, I'd love to give it a go. And just kind of play around with it. The clips I showed for Amy's Crypt weren't like the creepiest, definitely. I think I would give them both like a 2 on creepiness because they were just kind of like her personal experience or spirit box. But I do think that they're interesting, and they're definitely, I think there are some spookier pieces that I saw when she was recording, but what do you think? 1 through 5, spook.
I think I will give the specifically when you hear the word CAG, I think that was pretty weird. So I'm going to give her a 3 because I think that's such like a random word to hear, and especially since it was the name, like I think that's pretty compelling. It wasn't scary necessarily to me,
right?
But I think it was interesting, and I'm excited to go check out her videos because I think it looks like she's presenting stuff in a really good way, and I really appreciate the honesty.
Oh, this one I don't know. Dropping an iPhone 11 Pro down a deep, hot cauldron hole? What? What is that name?
So this video interests me a lot. So I don't know much about the creator, but he doesn't make paranormal content. He does like these goofy,
I was going to say, is this paranormal?
That's the funny thing, and that's why I find it so interesting. He does like testing technology constraints and like stuff like that type of videos. And so he does this one video where he takes like a new iPhone 11 and he brings it to this like kind of like, I guess it's kind of like a hot spring or something in a deserty area, and it's super, super deep. It cannot sustain life because it's so hot, and it's like, I think he might explain it a little bit, and he dips the phone twice to kind of test, if it's going to survive under extreme conditions. And the first time, like, nothing happens. It's just down there. And the second time, something weird happens. And it's really, really strange. And I'm excited that you've never seen it before. So let's see it.
All right, let me skip this.
You have the
fucking
timestamp?
ad.
Oh, the dramatic music.
So this is where it gets scary?
No. There's 2 dips. And that seems like an important detail to me.
I don't like this one. I'm already uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I'm so uncomfortable. This really feels... I don't like it. It feels very found footage, like I'm going to be jump scared. You're not going to jump scare me, right?
No, I'm not going to jump scare you. So we can probably go ahead and scrub a little bit to the next dip. You'll probably be able to see when he's lowering it again right here.
Is this like touted as a paranormal video? How did you find this? Before I watch the spooky part, I'm delaying.
Maybe Nuke's top 5.
Okay. Where does the water come from? If it's so hot, how does it not just evaporate away? Where does the water come from?
Probably the earth.
I'm uncomfortable.
So, I don't know if you can you scrub a little bit for me so I can see where I want you to go next? Yeah, like right around here. Yeah.
So I wanted to include this one little segment here as well, guys. I noticed after listening to the audio of the last drop test that went into the water, the audio sounded pretty eerie, and I wanted to include kind of the unaltered version here. So I have the clip here. It was 2 minutes and 40 seconds, and I edited, for the actual video, because it's just a lot of talking, and then the drone is flying, and then I'll show you guys the actual drop here. And then right there, you could hear, it definitely sounds like some yelling. It's really weird, guys. I don't know what to think of it. Especially since the first dip there was no noise at all. And then the recording actually stopped right here, which is also really weird. But I just wanted to show that, guys, as proof. Like, I didn't edit the audio or anything.
Yeah, let me hear it.
I wonder, because it does sound like when the phone drops into the water, it does sound like there's a yell, and it almost sounds like a continuation of the
whirring of
the whirring. And I wonder if could it be that like something broke in the speaker? It does sound like, the screams of hell. It's weird.
Spooky.
It's
spooky,
weird,
but
especially
I agree
that
with you.
That last part, especially where it starts to grow louder and louder right before it comes out of the water. It sounds like it's getting closer and closer to the air where that reverberation is happening. It's weird. It's spooky.
It's such a weird video, and especially with the context of he's not a paranormal investigator, and this is all he talks about it. Like, this is the extent of his, like, he's just like, hey, yeah, that was weird. Here's the clip. I'm not, like, bullshitting you guys, but, like, and people, see what I mean? You can check the views. This thing went viral because it was so weird.
It's just the wind noise together with vibrational noise traveling down the fishing line. That was another thing I was wondering, because he's got the thing, like, all tied up and shit. Like, could it be vibrations?
But why didn't it happen the first time? That is why I wanted to show the first clip. And I know that sound can be weird, and especially with water, but it sounded like nothing like a voice. See, I can hear that while I'm hearing the other noise in the second clip.
So, 2 things. I can actually kind of hear as though there are screams happening in that first clip. I can kind of hear it. It's quieter, but I can still kind of hear that noise. Like the whoa.
Yeah, but go to the next one.
I know it is, like, very dramatically different, but
because I think you can actually hear both. No, so I can't hear both. I'm wrong about that, but it's not continuous. See, there, I felt like I could hear the whirring, and then there was a secondary, which to me is
it's definitely really weird. It sounds, like I said, like the screams of hell, which is
creepy.
I mean, the sinkholes, what are they called then? The cenotes. I think they, in South America, thought they were like portals to the underworld, which is, if you want to get all lore into it, that that's it's just, you know, an interesting concept.
See, and
Um,
for me, it's like,
but-
if we're taking the, like, how would you rationalize this paranormal, like, in a part, like, if we were to try to get a little hokey pokey about it, not hokey pokey, but you know what I mean, like, it's a sinkhole, if people fall in it, they're probably going to die, and that's, like, bound to have happened in the past. So if there was some kind of, like, tortured spirit who died down there, why wouldn't, you know, there is the potential
The one
for
thing for
paranormal
me
activity.
is like, it's like you can hear as it rotates, as it's running around, like as though the sound is coming from one area and it's like rotating, and that's why it's getting, and then you can see here it's starting to come to the surface, and it gets louder and louder as it gets to the surface.
I see what you're saying with that.
That's
But
why I think it's so
Yeah.
creepy though.
It's creepy.
I think
and
the
it's inconsistent.
inconsistency is because the phone is breaking.
Which
I think
is-
that's
yeah.
why it sounds different
I would
from
be
the first
interested
to
to
the second.
see if there was a third dip.
Hi there, it's me editing Michaela, and I'm just editing this clip, and we keep talking about the inconsistencies between the first drop and the second drop, or at least the video, and that's because they're two different phones. They're different phones. I editing this and like capturing the clips, I realized they lost the first phone that they dipped. Technically both iPhone 11s, but like it's not the same physical device. So I just want to throw that in there and let you know I'm going to try to cut out as many parts of us saying, "Oh, well, it's why is it so inconsistent?" as possible. So I apologize. We had been doing this for 3 hours at this point. So it does sound very creepy. When you said something creepy was going to happen and it was underwater, I thought there was going to be like some spooky shadowy figure, and I was
That
like,
would be awesome.
"Oh."
Yeah, no. But I saw this one a while ago, and I've always like been curious about it, because I definitely agree with you, and I think that's a good point, that as it gets closer to the source of potential noise, it does seem to get louder, but it's just weird.
Yeah, it really does sound like I don't know. I think I'm thinking like Greek mythology, like, you know, with like in Hercules where all the spirits are spinning around in the water.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Or like in the river Styx, on
Yeah.
the way down. They're like, "Woo!" That's what it sounds like to me. So okay, so 5 spooky videos / compelling videos. I feel like some of them were like cool, compelling evidence, and that last one was just like spooky and weird, because that was the only one that we had that wasn't someone going out looking for paranormal. Although the Ring video was also not looking for paranormal evidence. That was just a happening thing.
Yeah. So it's interesting to try to dissect things like that too, though, because obviously it's the perfect setting to be so compelling. Like, oh, I just happened to catch this on my camera. People know that, so people are going to try to recreate that. Even though this guy doesn't make tech videos, you know, he might have seen Paranormal going viral and said, ooh, this is the perfect opportunity for me to make a lot of money on a viral video. I'm not saying it's
this
impossible.
video has almost 2 million views, and I see his next recommended video has 400,000 views. So like a great I mean, if that's what he did, like tried to make something spooky to get more views, very smart. You did a good job. It's a good one. But it's difficult when we're, you know, a third party not involved in just viewing it. We can't get different angles. We can't get more in-depth information. We're only digesting the information that is presented to us. So it's hard to, we can't say whether or not it's real or fake. And I think it's hard for, people who can like analyze videos like that, or like someone who, maybe if you have personal experience dropping phone in a hot well. Dropping phone in hot well.
So I'm looking at your resume and I see that you have a lot of experience.
Ow.
Anyway, so I think that's interesting though for our videos when we do get back to investigating, because we haven't really caught anything crazy, and it's hard because when you make a video like that and you have 45 minutes of nothing happened, it's frustrating as a creator to be like, I'm gonna now put this out. So I understand the temptation to dramatize like a small whisper or a light, but like if we're focusing on the science of the thing, because you and I have just had unexplained experiences and we're trying to recreate and understand it, that's like our genuine ambition here.
Because
So-
we want to record the weird things we've had to be like, it's not just weird. Because, like, when I trust my senses, if I've, like, seen something or if I felt something, usually there is a practical explanation. So, like, in the, 1 in 1,000 times, or probably more than that, when I think I see something out of my eye and I look and I don't see something there, I'm like, okay, but every other time I think I see something, there's, like, a practical, like, so why, But it's frustrating. But I do want to say, I do think we have caught one piece of potentially interesting evidence when we were in the Calvary Cemetery in Collinsville, which, if you want to watch that, I've recently uploaded 2 videos from investigations we did in October of 2019. It's a weird recording. It's definitely not you. I don't think it really sounds like my voice. It's a weird whisper that's right up next to the microphone. It goes like, what? Or something like that. And it could have just been me, like, sighing or something like that. I don't think I spoke. I don't think it quite sounds like me the way that the audio is. But it's really early in the video. I will link it down below. The frustrating thing about that is, like we were saying, like, how could we have possibly known, like, to review that and try to replicate it,
Yeah,
because we're not going to
totally.
review it because we were recording it on a camcorder. We didn't hear it in real time because it was this very weird, it sounds like a whisper saying wanted or haunted.
Oh yeah, like haunted.
Haunted. Like, it sounds like that. It's weird. It's a very strange whisper. Anyways. Okay, so if you have any videos online that you really like that seem to be, like, compelling evidence or just kind of like a weird, potentially paranormal thing, let us know down below and we'll check it out. We need more content. We're starved for it. So
I love this format so much, and I would love to even look at people's personal scary videos that they have. Like, I think that is way more interesting to see.
Yeah, if you have evidence that you want us to review, totally.
To all 3 of our viewers out there, send us your spooky evidence.
Mary Kate, please go hide in your closet and record some audio. I know how much you love ghosts. So, yeah. She's terrified of paranormal stuff.
Yeah. All right. Well.
Anyways, so
more
we'll
coming.
catch you later. Yeah, I don't know what we're going to do, but something paranormal related. So, stay tuned and bye.